Have you ever wanted to learn the songs on the album Nevermind by Nirvana? Well, in this guitar lesson we're going to be going through track by track and learning our iconic riffs and guitar solos that are in these songs. This album is great for beginners to start learning power chords and also start to play some guitar solos. If you're watching this on a desktop computer, I recommend pressing the save button on the right hand side. This means that you can easily find this video when you want to jump back in. This is the same if you're watching this on mobile, you just need to scroll to the right hand side and click the save button. Soon I'll be releasing a guitar playthrough of this album. This means that you can learn and also play along with me at the same time, and you'll get close-up angles of the guitar and see exactly how we play these songs. When this video is released, you'll see a pop-up appear in the top right corner of this video now. Click this, have both the videos open, and you can learn and play at the same time. I'd really appreciate it if you click like and subscribe. It really helps my channel out, and especially videos like these. So without further ado, let's jump into the album, and the very first song that we're going to be learning is of course Smells Like Teen Spirit. It opens up with that iconic riff. So to play this, we're going to be playing some power chords with some added mutes. So place your first finger on the first fret of your low E, little finger or third finger on the third fret of your A, and we're going to be going down, up, down. Once you've got that under control, then add your chord in. Down, up, down. So there's a little pause between the first downstroke and then you've got the up, down. After these chords, we're then going to play some muted notes. What we're going to do is just lift our fingers off of the fretboard but keep them on the strings. This produces some muted sounds. So for this we're going to go down, up, down, up. Okay, so if we add our chord in slowly. And once more, down, up, down. Once we have played these muted notes, we then move to another power chord. So if you just move your fingers down one string, so we'll be on the first fret of our A string and the third fret of our D string. So once we've moved our fingers down, we're going to go down, down, up this time. And once more. So altogether it sounds like this. And again. After this, we then move up to the 4th fret on the low E, 6th fret on the A, and we do exactly the same strumming pattern as we did for our very first chord. So that is down, up, down. So far we have got after our third chord, we again add those muted notes in, so it's exactly the same. Lift our fingers up, then we're going to do down, up, muted. And then we're going to go down to the 4th fret on the A, 6th fret on the D, and we're going to go down, down, up again. So you can think of this as in two halves, so this first half of those two chords and the second half of those two chords. The strumming pattern stays exactly the same, okay? It's only the chords that really change. So let's do it in full now. And once more. And this loops round and round again for 6 times. On the 6th time, when we get to this power chord here, which is our C sharp power chord, 4th fret A and 6th fret D, we play this 6 times instead. So we just do down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so down, up, down, up, down, up. So that is on the 6th time round. So I'm going to play you the 6th time round of this whole riff. So there's a slight difference, we're just playing that chord more times on the 6th time round. That then leads you into the verse of the song. So the verse of the song is fairly straightforward. We want more of a cleaner tone, and we're going to go to the 5th fret on the G string, 6th fret on the B string, so I recommend using your first and your second finger, and we're just going to pick the G and then the B. Okay, so one after the other. So this happens multiple times again. And then when he gets to the part where he is singing hello, what it essentially does is it doesn't have those rests in between. So it's just constant between those two strings. This then leads into the chorus of the song. So luckily for us, the chorus of this song is actually the same as the intro. So we just do exactly what we did in the intro. So we repeat the intro in the chorus multiple times, and then afterwards there's a separate part of the chorus. Sounds like this. So for the post-chorus, we're going to go down to our F power chord again. So that's the 1st fret low E, 3rd fret A, and we're going to go down, 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 up. Okay, down, 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 up. And then we're going to move up 1 fret, so we're on the 2nd fret low E and the 4th fret of the A, and we're going to do 2 downstrokes. So all together, and once more. And then we're going to do a bend on the 3rd fret of our G string. Pick it and then just bend it down. And then we're going to go back to our F power chord on the 1st fret of the low E, 3rd fret of the A. And we're going to repeat the same strumming pattern that we did. So that's down, 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 up. And then we're going to go up to the 6th fret low E, 8th fret A. We're going to do 2 downstrokes. Then we're going to move down 2 frets to the 4th fret low E, 6th fret A, 2 downstrokes. So if we play this slowly together. And once more. So this is played twice and then it heads back into the 2nd verse. So for the solo of the song, we're going to go to the 10th fret on our D with our 3rd finger. And then we're going to go to the 8th fret G. Then 10th fret G. And then we're going to go to the 6th fret D. Okay, so 10, 8, 10, 6. Second section of this solo, we're going to go to the 8th fret on the G string, picking it once, and then the second time we pick it, we're going to bend it up. And then we're going to bend down. And then we're going to go to the 6th fret on the G, then 5th fret G. Okay, so all together so far we have got and then we're going to play 6-5 again, and then 8-6 on the D. So from that 8th fret G before our bend, and then we're going to go to the 8th fret on the D, pick it once, then we're going to pick it again, bend down and return, and once more, and then we're going to go 6-5 on the D. Okay, so let's go from the beginning of the solo. So all of them sections there then repeat again. So we play it from the start. And again. So what it does then is it plays 6/5 3 times. Then it plays it once more. But this time when we pick that 5, we're then going to slide down to 3. So it sounds like this. And again. So altogether this 6/5 section sounds like this. And again. So that whole section there repeats 4 times. So now we're going to play the whole solo at a slow tempo. Our very final chord that we end on for this track is that F power chord that we started with. So that has been Smells Like Teen Spirit. The next song we're going to learn is In Bloom. So for In Bloom, we're going to start off with our first finger on the 1st fret of our A string, and then our little finger on the 3rd fret of our D. This is going to produce the power chord, so we hit both strings, and we're going to go down, up, down. There's a little pause in between the first downstroke and then the up, down. And then we're going to be moving to the 3rd fret low E, 5th fret A. We're going to do 1 downstroke. And then we're going to do 7 strums of the chord. So we're going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so on just this chord. And again. So if we do our 2 chords, it will sound like this. And then we're going to move down to our F power chord. So 1st fret low E, 3rd fret A, and we're going to go down, up, down. So exactly the same as our very first chord. Then we're going to move up to the 4th fret low E, 6th fret on the A, and we're going to go down, up, down, up, down, up. And then we're going to play 4/5 on our E string. So it sounds like this. And again. So altogether our chord progression sounds like this at a slow tempo so far. And once more. And then once we play that, we go back to our very first chord on the 1st fret A and 3rd fret D. To our 2nd chord like we did before, to our 1st chord. But this time when we go to our 4th fret and 6th fret A power chord, we just play it once. 2nd time round of this. So if we put both of these together, it will sound like this. So remember, the first time we stay on this 4th fret power chord and we do our 4/5 movement, and then the 2nd time round we just stop on that power chord. So it sounds like this at a slow tempo. And then there is a drum fill, and it leads into the pre-verse of this song. So there's two options for this. You can play them as power chords or you can play them as the full chords. So if you're playing it as a full chord, we place our first finger on the first fret of our A, and then we're going to bar our third finger on the third fret of the D, the G and the B. And we're going to play this 5 times, so down, up, down, up, down. And then after that we're going to do down, up, muted notes. And again. We're then going to move up to the 2nd fret low E, and then it's going to be the 4th fret on the A. So that would be your power chord. If you wanted to do the full chord, we'd add our little finger on the 4th fret of the D, and then we'd add our 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of our G, and we're going to play it 5 times again. Then we're going to do our 2 muted notes. Okay, so all together it will sound like this so far. And then we're going to move all the way up to the 6th fret A and 8th fret D. If you're playing the full chord, then it will be 8th fret on the D, G and the B. And again, we're going to be playing it 5 times with our 2 muted notes afterwards. After this, we're then going to move down to the 2nd fret on the A, 4th fret on the D, full chord it would be 4th fret G and B, and then we're going to do down, up, and then we're going to go to an A power chord, so that's open A, 2nd fret D, 2nd fret G, down, up, down, up. So from the 6th fret chord it sounds like this. So all together so far it will sound like this. So that whole section repeats twice and we're going to play along to it at a slow tempo. So it sounds like this. And then the guitar drops out and it is just the bass and the vocals with some drums. Then the guitar comes back in and it essentially plays exactly the same as what we have just learned. But there's a slight difference. So on the second time round, rather than play our 2nd fret power chord to our A, we play our 2nd fret power chord and then we move it up to the 5th fret on the A, 7th fret on the D, when we play it 4 times. So that D is essentially replacing the A power chord. Okay, so all together it will sound like this. It then heads into the chorus of the track. So for the chorus, we're going to go back to our 1st fret A and 3rd fret D power chord, and we're going to go down, down, up, down, down, up. Okay, so that's down, down, up, down, down, up. On that final up, we're actually going to lift our fingers off so we get essentially open strings. Okay, so if I do it at a slow tempo, and once more. So by lifting our fingers off, it gives us time to go to the very next chord. So the very next chord that we're going to play is our 3rd fret low E, 5th fret A, and we're going to do exactly the same as what we did for our very first chord. So that's down, down, up, down, down, up. And again, when we play that final up, we're going to lift our fingers off so we get some open strings. If we play those 2 chords, so if you're struggling with those open strings, what you can essentially do is just play that chord one more time. Then we go back to our very first chord, play it exactly the same again. Back to our second chord, exactly the same. Okay, so it goes 1st fret power chord, 3rd fret, back to the 1st fret, and then back to the 3rd fret power chord again. So we've essentially played 4 chords there. So after this chord, we're then going to move down a string. So we're going to be on the 3rd fret of the A and the 5th fret of the D, and we're going to go down, 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 up. And once more. And then we're going to slide all the way to the 6th fret A and 8th fret of the D, and we're going to go up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And once more. So if we put those two chords together at slow tempo, it will sound like this. And that repeats twice, so it sounds like this. So all together, the chorus sounds like this. Goes back into another verse and a chorus. They're both exactly the same as what we have just learned. It's then going to head into a guitar solo. So for the guitar solo, we're going to place our first finger on the 17th fret of our G string, 18th fret on the B with our 2nd finger, and we're going to hit both strings and bend up. We're going to hold it at the top, and then we're going to pick again and bend back down. Okay, and we're going to do it once more. It's a bit of a finger shredder, but that's fine with us. And then we're going to move down to the 15th fret on the G, 16th fret on the B. And we're just going to go up and then come back down, so we're not holding it as long as our A first chord. So altogether it sounds like this. So we're then going to go to the 11th fret on the D, and then we're going to pick the 11th fret again, then go to the 13th fret, back to the 11th fret, back to the 13th fret, but we're going to bend down and return. Okay, so all together it sounds like this. And again. Then if we go from the start of the solo, and then we're going to go to the 11th fret A and the 13th fret A, 11th fret on the D, 13th fret on the D, then we're going to go to the 11th fret on the A and 13th fret on the A, then we're going to go to the 11th fret D, 13th fret B, then we're going to pick the 13th fret D again and bend down. Okay, so from our A string, then we're going to pick the 13th fret D again, and then 11th fret D, 13th fret D. Okay, so from our A string again, then our next section goes to the 11th fret D, 13th fret D, another 13th fret D, bend and release, 11th fret D, 13th fret D, and then some open strings. So all together it sounds like this at a slow tempo. So from the start it will sound like this. Then we go back to our 17th fret and 18th fret bend. So after our bend, we don't go back down, we go to the 10th fret G, pick it once. Little pause in between, then we go 10, 12, 10. Okay, so. Then we go back to the 12th fret G and we slide up to the 13th fret. Okay. And then we go to the 12th fret on the G and we hammer on to the 13th fret. and then we do a bend on the 13th fret G and then release. So all together it sounds like this. Okay, and once more. And then we pick the 13th fret G again, slide up to the 15th fret. And then we bend up on the 15th fret G. Okay, so again from the beginning, so this is a little tricky part. Release back down, then bend up again. Okay, so at the full tempo so that you can hear in the context of the track. And then we play our 15th fret G and 16th fret B. Hold that. Then we go to the 11th fret D again. And then we use our second finger on the 12th fret of the G and we just pick between the two. 3 times. So this is quite a tricky guitar solo. It's not massively structured. There's a lot of feedback and a lot of noise. But let's try it from the beginning at a slow tempo. So this is a tricky solo. You can tell that there's not too much structure to it. So you've got a choice. You can kind of make some noise and play your own notes, or you can play to the track like we have just learned. So then it goes into another chorus, exactly the same as how we've played it before. Then to end the song, it actually does the outro. And to finish it off, we go back to our 1st fret on the A and 3rd fret on the D, and we just do one strum of it and it rings out. So that has been In Bloom. The next song that we're going to be looking at is Come As You Are. So this is a guitar lesson for Come As You Are. We've got 4 sections in this song. The intro, which is the main riff that repeats throughout the verse. We've got a pre-chorus, a chorus, and also a guitar solo. So for this song, we're going to need to be in D, G, C, F, A, D tuning. What this essentially means is we tune a whole step down from our E standard tuning. So our first string is going to be a D. Our second string is going to be a G. Our third string is going to be a C. Fourth string is going to be an F. And then our 5th string will be an A. And then our 6th string will be a D. So this main riff starts out with 2 open low E strings, so that's our very top string. I'm just going to call it by their standard tuning string names rather than the tune that we're in, just to make it a little bit easier. So 2 open low E's. And then we're going to go to the 1st fret low E. And all those notes are played consistently after each other. And then with our second finger, we're going to go on the 2nd fret of low E. We're going to pick this once. So all these notes go together. And then you can look at this next part as a separate section. So we pick the A, which should be open. Then the low E. Then the A. And then the low E twice. And then we go to the 1st fret low E. So let's do this section from the beginning again at slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a couple of things here just to be careful of when we're playing that 2nd fret low E and the open A's. We're going to need our finger to be arched up enough to ensure we get that open A nice and clean. And then the very last movement, the 2-2-1, we just need to be careful, it's quite quick. So with my right hand, what we're doing here is we're doing it all down picked. It's probably the easiest way and the way that Kurt Cobain did it. Now let's look at the next section. So for the next section, we're going to do a low open E. Then we're going to go to the 2nd fret A, so I recommend using your 2nd finger for this. And then 2 low E's. Okay, so far we've got low E, 2nd fret A, low E, low E. And then we finish it off by going to the 2nd fret A again, low E, and then 1st fret on the low E. So altogether this section sounds like this at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. On its own it sounds really odd, but now if we put that whole section together, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's hard to get the rhythm at a slow tempo, so now I'm going to do it pretty much to the track tempo, just so you can hear the rhythm and where the notes go. So, 1, 2, 3. Then after this section, all it does is repeat from our 2nd fret low E. Back to the 2nd fret low E, and it just loops that round. So the very first 3 notes in this song, the 0-0-1, that is only played at the beginning. After that, it just loops round from the 2nd fret low E note. So the 2nd fret low E onwards repeats around 4 times, then it heads into a pre-chorus. So for the pre-chorus, unfortunately we're going to be playing an F sharp minor bar chord. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit the top strings, we're going to go down, down. And then on the up, we're going to hit the bottom strings. And once more. And then we're going to play the top strings again with our down. And then we're going to lift our fingers off and play an open A, D and G string. And the rhythm sounds like this. So you can see on that very 3rd downstroke, I lift my fingers off and played the open strings. I'm going to play it once more for you. Then goes to A major chord. Then we go to an A major chord, so 2nd fret on the D and on the G. And we're going to go down, down, up. We're going to hold that, and then we're going to do another down, and then an open string down. So altogether it sounds like this. So remember to lift your fingers off to play those open strings, and once more. So now we're going to add in the F sharp minor. What you could try and do is rather than play the bar chord, just play a power chord. And just hold on that. So rather than play those bottom strings, the higher strings, and the open strings as well, just play that F sharp power chord. You could even play those open strings at the end. So down, down, up, down, open strings. So that's one way of playing it if you're not quite ready with bar chords yet. So now let's put the whole of this section together. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have played that 3 times and that's what happens in the track. On the 4th time we play our F sharp chord again. We play our A major, but this time we only do the down, down, up part. And then it heads back into the main riff. So the 4th time round sounds like this. After you do that upstroke, very quickly, we do the 001 again. So that's what we played right at the start of the song, which then links us back into the next verse, where we start the riff again on that 2nd fret low E. So that 001 we play at the beginning, we also play at the end of the pre-chorus. It's essentially a link to the main riff. So it goes back into the 2nd verse, then there's another pre-chorus, and this time we actually get to a chorus. So for the chorus we're going to play a B power chord, 1st finger on your 2nd fret of your A, little finger on your 4th fret of your D. And for this we're going to have a bit of distortion now, so I'm just going to keep on the clean channel for the verse just to make it a bit easier. But if you're playing along to the song, this is when you want to click your distortion on. So for the strumming pattern on this chord, it's down, down, up, down, and then we're going to do open strings again on the up. Okay, so down, down, up, down, up. Then it's going to go to a D power chord, so 1st finger on the 2nd fret G, 3rd finger on your 3rd fret of your B, exactly the same way that we're going to play it, same strumming pattern, and we've also got those open strings at the end. So down, down, up, down, up. So let's link those 2 chords together now. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 4th time round we go back to our B power chord, play it exactly the same. And then we go to a D power chord, but we just go down, down, up. And then we do that transition notes again, so 0, 0, 1. So for this chorus we go B to D 3 times. On the 4th time round we go back to our B, play it exactly the same, go to our D, but go down, down, up. And then 0, 0, 1 on our top string. So what I recommend you do is practice this section in particular, because the transition from our D chord into our transition notes is quite quick, so I really recommend just picking that and practicing it again. Then it heads back into the main riff that plays twice. And what I recommend you do this time is on the 2nd time round, when we get to those 2 open low E's, and the parts before it sound like this, I recommend you actually don't play the rest of the riff, you actually get ready for your solo. So it comes in pretty much straight away. So for the solo, we go to 6th fret G, then 9th fret G, and then the 11th fret G. So I recommend using your 1st finger, 3rd and 3rd. So it sounds like this. And then on the 3rd time round we stop here and we do a bend from 11 to 13. Come back down and play 11, then 9, and then it starts again. And that just loops around several times in the solo, heads back into a pre-chorus and then the chorus, which is exactly the same as what we've played before. So the outro is just the riff. Remember, in the chorus our very last 3 notes are those transition notes, and the outro starts there. Play it 4 times. 2 more times. 1 more time. And then we finish it off on our F sharp chord. So that has been Come As You Are. The next song that we're going to be looking at is Breed. So the intro to Breed starts off with this main riff. So we're going to place our first finger on the 2nd fret low E, little finger on the 4th fret of your A, and we're going to do down up on this chord. And then afterwards on the next down we're going to place our first finger up in the air a little bit, so we've got an open low E now. Okay, so these 3 chords together sound like this. And again. So I recommend when you lift your finger off, we don't lift it too far off, otherwise it's going to take a lot of effort to pull it back down for our next chord. And then we're going to place our finger back down on our upstroke. So our 4 chords sound like this. And again. And then what we do is we then slide up to the 5th fret low E, 7th fret A. And we're going to do a downstroke and then bend the strings down. Okay, so. And then the final note that we're going to play is an open low E. So if you practice the chord into the low E, we're going down on the chord and then up on the low E. So if we now put this whole riff together slowly. And then at the track tempo it sounds like this. So when we do the bend on the 5th fret power chord, we want to hold it for a little bit, and then when we come off, we go up on our open E. This repeats several times, then it goes into the verse. So for the verse, what we're going to do is we're going to use our 2nd finger on the 11th fret of the D and the G string. And then we're going to play this 24 times. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're going to play it another 3 times. So in total, we have played this 27 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3. And then on the 4th time that you would play it, what we actually do is we move to the 10th fret D and just play that single note. So altogether it sounds like this. So that is at a little bit of a slower tempo, with the track tempo is a little bit quicker, and it sounds like this. Afterwards, we then just go back to our 11th fret notes. That happens 3 times. On the 4th time, we play the 11th fret notes 24 times. And then rather than playing it an extra 3 times and moving down to our 10th fret D, what we do is we move to our 2nd fret low E, 4th fret on the A, and we go down, up, and we play it 8 times. So the 4th time round in the verse sounds like this. It's a little bit tricky because we got quite a big movement to do, but it sounds really cool and it leads into the chorus. So the full verse sounds like this. It then heads into the chorus of the song. So for the chorus of the song, we're going to place our first finger on the 2nd fret of our G string, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of our B string. What we're looking to do here is hit the D, the G and the B string. And we're going to go down, up, down. And then on the next upstroke, we're going to lift our fingers off and play those open strings again. So slowly it will sound like this. And again. So then we're going to play a power chord. So we're going to place our first finger on the second fret of our D string. We're going to do down, up, down like we did before. And then on the final upstroke, we're going to lift our finger off to play the open strings. So those chords together so far sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And once more. And then we're going to go to the 3rd fret low E and the 5th fret A, and we're going to go down, up, down. And then we're going to move down to the 2nd fret A and the 4th fret D, and we're going to go up, down, up, down, up. So let's put those two chords together. And again, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so we're moving on an upstroke. So now let's put the whole chorus together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And once more. So the only other part that we need to look at for this song is the guitar solo. So like with quite a few other Nirvana solos, you can tell this is kind of improvised, a lot of noise. So if you've got pedals, then maybe stick some pedals on. If not, then the distortion will just be fine. So for the guitar solo, place your first finger on the 9th fret of your A string, 2nd finger on the 10th fret of the D, 3rd finger on the 11th fret of the G, and we're going to be playing this 24 times. So think of it as 3 lots of 8s. And then on the 4th time round, you've got 2 choices. You can again play it another 8 times, or you can play it 2 times and then start sliding down the neck like what happens in the track. So here's the 2 options. So that is just playing the chord 32 times without sliding down the neck. Here's the next option. It's really up to you. I quite like the slide. It gives it a bit of character and a bit of attitude. Then what we're going to do is we're going to slide this chord up to the 12th fret on the A, 13th fret on the D, 14th fret on the G. And we're going to do exactly the same again. Next we're going to be moving up to the 15th fret on the A, 16th fret on the D, and the 17th fret on the G. Exactly the same. And then the final chord that we're going to play is the 17th fret on the A, 18th fret on the D, 19th fret on the G. Again, we're going to do the same. And then we're just going to slide up our strings. It's quite a messy ending to the solo, so when you get to that chord, you can really do whatever you kind of want. You just need to be ready to come back into the chorus. So the full solo sounds like this if you would like to play along. So the important thing with this solo is just making sure we get from that ending back into our chorus. So it does jump in slightly early. Then it just ends with this chorus and then it goes back into our main riff. And then the final chord that we're going to end on is our 2nd fret power chord, 4th fret on the A. And we let it ring out. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. The next song that we're going to be looking at is Lithium. For Lithium, we're going to be in D, G, C, F, A, D tuning. So our A top string is going to be a D, our second string is going to be a G, third string is going to be a C, fourth string is going to be an F, fifth string is going to be an A, and then our bottom string is also going to be a D. So this is a whole step down from E standard tuning. So let's look into the main section of this song. So Kurt Cobain does a variation of this throughout the whole of the song. We're just going to look at it one way and you can really apply it how you want. But for the beginning, it is mainly palm muted. So the very first note we're going to play is an open low E. And then we're going to play a mute. So I recommend just placing your hands over the 4th, 5th and 6th frets because that's where we're going to go next. Then we're going to do an open low E again. Then first finger on the 4th fret low E, and then on the 6th fret of the A we're going to do an upstroke, and this is actually going to be open rather than pure palm muted. So all together so far it sounds like this, and once more. Then we're going to play our open low E again muted, then the 4th fret on the A, and then we're going to do an upstroke on the 6th fret of the D. And once more. So a little bit of a tricky part here is moving between the palm mutes and also the open strings. Don't worry too much if you're not quite getting it down to begin with. As long as the notes are correct, then you can add in all the little intricacies at the beginning. So at the moment, everything is palm muted except from the 6th fret A note and the 6th fret D notes, which are upstrokes. So let's play now from the start. 1, 2, 3, 4. And once more. Then we're going to go to an open low E. And then place our first finger down on the 5th fret low E. And then we're going to build our power chords, so 3rd and little finger on the 7th fret of the A and the D. So all together we've got, and then we're going to play an open low E. So far at the moment. And again, when we get down to that 7th fret D, we're going to do an upstroke and it's going to be open. And then we're going to go into a C power chord. So first finger on the 3rd fret A, 3rd and little finger on the 5th fret of the D and on the G. So on this chord, we're going to play the A string, then the G, then the D. Then we're going to play the A again, but slide up 2 frets. Then when we move up to the 5th fret on the A and the 7th fret on the D and the G, we're going to pick through. We're going to go D, G, D. Okay, so. And again. So A, G, D, A, slide, D, G, D. Then we're going to go down to our B power chord. So first finger on the 2nd fret A, 3rd and little finger on the 4th fret of the D and the G. We're going to pick the A, then the G, then the D, then the A, then slide back up to our D power chord on the 5th and 7th frets. Then we're going to pick the D, G, and D. Okay, so A, G, D, A and slide, D, G, D. So altogether so far it will sound like this all the way from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this just loops several times in the verse. On the last time round, so that's the 4th time, when we do our B to D power chord, you can just strum these 4 times. Then we head into the chorus of the song. So the chorus of the song essentially follows the intro a little bit, but this time we're playing full chords. So let's play our E power chord, so first finger on the second fret of the A. And what we're doing is we're going down, down, up. On the up, we're playing open strings. So then we're going to go to our G sharp power chord, so 4th fret on the low E, 6th fret on the A and on the D, and we're going to go down, down, and then on the up, we're going to play our open strings again. There's a little pause between the first down and the second down. So let's put those two chords together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to move down to the 4th fret on the A and 6th fret of the D, do exactly the same. Then we're going to go to our A power chord, so 5th fret low E and 7th fret A, we're going to go down, up, and again. Then we're going to move to our C power chord, 3rd fret A and 5th fret on the D, and we're going to go down, down, up, down. And then on that very last down, we're going to slide up. And then we're going to go up, down, up on our D power chord. Okay, and once more. And we do exactly the same when we go down to our B power chord. And we go back up to our D power chord. So now let's play this chorus at a slow tempo to make sure we get it under our fingers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And once more. This repeats 4 times for the chorus, and then goes back into a verse, which is exactly the same as our main riff. Again, heads into another chorus after this. And then after this chorus, we have arguably a second chorus that sounds like this. So for this second half of the chorus as such, we're going to go to our A power chord, so 5th fret low E, 7th fret on the A and on the D. We're going to do our down, down, and then on the up we're going to do our open strings. Then we're going to go down to our 3rd fret A and 5th fret D, so that's our C power chord, doing exactly the same. Okay, so in this second half of the chorus, it flips between those two chords, and then when it ends, what we're going to do is when he says, "When I cry," we're going to play this D power chord 7 times. Then we're going to go down to our B power chord, 2nd fret A and 4th fret on the D, we're going to play it 5 times. Okay, so 7 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to play an open low E, 3rd fret low E, and we're going to bend it down. Okay, so altogether, the very ending of this sounds like this. Once more. So that has been Lithium. We essentially have 3 parts in this song. We have that main intro that also doubles up as the verse. Then we have a chorus, and then essentially the second part of the chorus, which also doubles up as the outro. For the outro, we play the very first chord 7 times. Down to our B power chord 5 times. And then we do our open low E, 3rd fret bend on the low E, and then the open low E to end it off. So that has been Lithium. The next song that we're going to be looking at is an acoustic number, and it's called Polly. The very first chord that we're going to play is a E power chord. So to play this, place your first finger on the second fret of your A string, and then what we're looking to do is hit both the E and the A. And then afterwards we're going to do a mute. Now the way I do this is I hit the chord, and then with my right hand I then put it on top of my strings, and that gives us that muted sound. You want to do it fairly hard so you get that mutes really coming out. And then after that we're going to do an upstroke on the open low E. So all together. And again. So that upstroke low E comes quite quickly after the mute. And then we're going to go to a G power chord. So our first finger is going to be on the 3rd fret of the low E. And then our 3rd or little finger will be on the 5th fret of the A. And then we're going to go down up. So far we have got. And once more. And you might have noticed me do it earlier. We're going to do another down mute after those 2 chords. All together so far sound like this. And again. And then after that second mute, we're also going to do an upstroke on the low E again. So far we have got this. After that we're then going to go down to a D power chord. First finger on the 5th fret of the A, little finger or 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the D, and we're going to go down up. And then we're going to do a mute. And then we're going to move down to the C power chord, that's the 3rd fret A and the 5th fret of the D. We're just going to do one downstroke for now. So if we play these 2 chords, the mute and then the C power chord, it sounds like this. And again. And then we have a little bit of a pause, and then on this chord we go up, down. And then off that last chord we take our fingers off and we do an upstroke on them open strings, so the D and the A. Those open string transitions are really important on this album. So let's just do that last section again from our D power chords. And again. Now let's do the whole of the verse chord progression at a slow tempo. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then at the check tempo it's a little bit quicker. The key to this verse riff is those open low E notes and also the open strings at the end of the chord progression in this verse. That repeats several times and then it goes into the chorus where the chord progression changes slightly. So for the chorus chord progression we're going to go to the D power chord that we played in our verse. So for this D power chord we're going to go down up. Then we're going to add a mute. Okay, so when you do your mute with your right hand, what I also do with my left hand, so I just lift my fingers a little bit so they're still touching the string. Just gives you a little bit of an assurance that the strings are going to be muted. Then we're going to move down to our C power chords. That's our 3rd finger on the A string power chord. And we're going to go down. So let's put it together. And then we're going to go up, down with a little gap. And then we're going to go up on our open strings A and D. Okay, so D power chords, down, up, mute, down, little pause, up, down, and then open string up. Okay, so now we're going to play through it without me saying anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And once more. And then we're going to go up to our G power chord, so 3rd fret on the low E, 5th fret on the A. We're going to go down up. And Then we're going to add a mute on the down. And then we're going to go down to our B flat power chord, and we're going to go down, have our little gap again, and then we're going to go up, down, then on up those open strings. Okay, so let's do it from our G power chord. So the mute after the G power chord, we do move to our B flat power chord pretty quickly, so you just need to be ready for that. So let's put the whole of the chorus chord progression together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then at the full tempo of the track, it will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the chorus starts when he sings, "Is It Me?" So that has been Polly, and the next song that we're going to be looking at is Territorial Pieces. So the majority of Territorial Pieces revolves around 3 chords. So we're going to be playing an A power chord, so that's going to be the 5th fret on the low E with your first finger, then your 3rd or little finger on the 7th fret of your A string. And we're going to be playing this 8 times. You've got a choice on whether you want to play this with all downstrokes or down up. It's really up to you. It's a pretty punky song, so you may just want to do downstrokes to really catch that vibe. And again. And then we're going to be moving down to the 8th fret on the A, 10th fret on the D. Again, you've got 2 choices here. You can play that power chord or you can play the F major shape. To my ears on the track, he's playing the F major shape, but it doesn't really matter too much. You can just play the power chord. So on this chord, we're going to play it 8 times. And then we're going to move down to our D power chord. So first finger on the 5th fret of the A, 2nd or little finger on the 7th fret of the D. Again, you've got a choice. You can play the power chord or you can play the major version. But this time on the chord, we're going to be playing it 16 times, so it's twice the length of the other chords. So if we put our chords all together, our very first chord is 8 times, down to our F power chord on the 8th fret 8 times, then across to our D power chord on the 5th fret of the A, we're going to play it 16 times. So let's play this at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're a beginner that's looking to learn this song, the difficulty you're going to be having is it's a fairly quick song, and so the chord changes also going to be quick. What I recommend you do is just play each chord once. And make sure you get the changes underneath your hands. And then once you've got the changes down, then you can add more down strums or down up strums if that's what you decide to use to then make it closer to the original track. So the only part where this chord progression changes is in the bridge. So the bridge section sounds like this. And it continues on and on until the ending where there's a little bit of a change. But what we're doing for this is we're playing our A power chord. Before we play the chord open, we're going to do 2 palm mutes of our 5th fret low E. Okay, and then we're going to play the open chord. So 1, 2, open. And once more. 1, 2, open. So you do this multiple times. It happens actually 15 times. And then for the ending, we're going to play the 7th fret D. And then we're going to play the 7th fret B. Then the 7th fret G. So for this, our finger's going to be on a bar on the 7th fret of the D, the G, and the B string. So if we add a few of our palm mutes into it. So that has been Territorial Pieces. Pretty simple track. You've really only got those 3 chords. They just repeat in the verse and the choruses. It's only in the bridge where we've got that palm muted bit that it changes. So the next song we're going to be looking at in this album is Drain You. So Drain Me starts off with this riff. So to play this, we're going to be playing an A power chord to begin with. So we want our open A, and then we want our first finger on the 2nd fret of the D. You can also add in a little bar to go to the 2nd fret of the G as well. And what we're looking to do on this chord is we're going to go down, down, up, and again. And then we're going to move to a C sharp power chord. So our first finger is going to be on the 4th fret of the A, 3rd or little finger on the 6th fret of the D, and we're going to go down, up, down. Okay, so far. And then on the upstroke, we're going to do some open strings, so the open D and the open A. So all together it sounds like this. And then we're going to move to the 2nd fret low E and the 4th fret on the A strings. So that gives us our F sharp power chord. And we're going to go down, down, up. And once more. And then we're going to do a mute on the next downstroke. And then we're going to move our fingers down to the 2nd fret A and the 4th fret of the D. We're going to go up, down. Then on the upstroke, we are going to do those open strings again of the D and the A. And once more. So if we do the movement from our 2nd fret low E down to the 2nd fret A, those 2 power chords, it's going to sound like this. And once more. It sounds really odd with those open strings, but then when you pull it to the track tempo, you can then see how it actually works with the track. So let's do the whole of this verse riff at a really slow tempo. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then to the track tempo, it will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this riff is played in all of the verses. For the intro, it is played twice with a clean tone on the guitar. And then the distortion kicks in and we play it another 6 times. After we play it 6 times, it does this little transition. So this then goes into the chorus. So we're going to play an E power chord. So 2nd fret on the A, and we hit both the E and the A strings. Then we're going to go to a D power chord. Kurt Cobain really liked to use this type of D power chord. And we're going to place our first finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. We're looking to hit from the D string downwards. And then we're going to go to a B power chord. So this was our very last chord in the verse. 2nd fret on the A, 4th fret on the D. We're going to play this 8 times. So this is going to be with down, up strumming. Then it's going to switch to the D power chord. We're going to play it 8 times. So it does this 2 chord movement 3 times. On the 4th time round, it plays our B power chord again 8 times. And then it does a descending run where we play the A power chord. Then it goes to a G power chord, so 3rd fret low E, 5th fret A. And then it moves down 1 fret to the 2nd fret low E and the 4th fret A. So this whole chorus section sounds like this at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you might have heard, for the last 3 chords, that's our A power chord, our G power chord and the F sharp, there is a pause in between them both, and we're just doing a single strum on those chords. So that is the whole of the chorus section, and that is the same for all of the choruses. Something just to watch out for is for the second verse, we play our verse riff 8 times again. It can be a little bit confusing because for the intro and the verse, we play the intro twice and then 6 times in the verse. Whereas this time in verse number 2, we play that riff 8 times. So for the bridge of the song, it's essentially a lot of random noise and ambience. It basically revolves around a 2nd fret low E note, so you could just play that throughout the whole of the bridge. Or you can play the full power chord. Whatever you want to do with this bridge, there's not much to it. Towards the end, there is a little bit of a lead guitar line that goes like this. It's really as random as that, but it sounds really cool. So what we're going to do is play the 6th fret on the G and slide up to the 7th fret. Then we're going to go down to the 4th fret on the G. And then what we're going to do is essentially run all the way up the neck. So we're going to go 5th fret and slide to the 6th fret, 6th fret to the 7th, 7th to the 8th, etc, etc, all the way up until the verse riff comes back in again. So it sounds like this roughly. And to be honest, on that run up on the fretboard, you can really do what you want. You don't have to do a pick and then a slide. You can just slide your finger up. You just need to be careful of when the verse riff comes back in. The only other change that really happens is that in the final chorus, in our 2 chord switch, so that's from the B chord to the D chords, it actually happens 5 times. In the previous choruses, it didn't happen as often, it only happened 3 times. So that has been Drain You. The only thing to add with the song is all the live videos that I've watched of Nirvana playing this, they seem to do it a whole step up. So to play it in the way that we have learned, you'll need to play it to the album track. So the next song we're going to learn is Lounge Act. So for Lounge Act, there's essentially 3 different parts. So the main riff that we're going to look at goes like this. So what we're going to do is place our 1st finger on the 2nd fret of our A string, little finger on the 4th fret of our D. That gives us our B power chord. We're going to do a downstroke on the chord, and then on the 2nd downstroke we're going to mute the notes. And again. And then we're going to play up, down, up, down, up. So altogether it sounds like this. And again. After this, we're then going to move to a G chord, and we're going to go down, up, down. So far. And again. So that change between the 2 chords is quite quick. So you just need to ensure that your 2nd finger comes up and then onto your 3rd fret low E, and then you change the rest of your hand shape into the G major. Then when we move to the C power chord, so 3rd fret A and 5th fret D, we're going to go down, up. And again, down, up. So all together at a slow tempo, our riff sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, even slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that verse riff repeats several times and then it heads into the chorus that sounds like this. So what we're playing here is an E major chord, and we're going to do 2 downstrokes on this chord. And then we're going to be moving our second and our third finger down to the 2nd fret D and 2nd fret of the G. But on this chord we're going up, up, down, up. Okay, and once more, up, up, down, up. So far we have got at a slow tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4. And once more. And then we're going to head into our D power chord. So first finger on the 2nd fret G, third finger on the 3rd fret of the B. And we're going to do 2 downstrokes on this D. In exactly the same way as we did for our very first chord, that E major. And then we're going to head into a G power chord. So we can keep our 3rd finger rooted on that 3rd fret B. 2nd finger comes up onto the 3rd fret low E. And we're going to play up, up, down, up. So altogether our chorus chord progression sounds like this. And again at a slow tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4. After this, it then heads into the second part of the chorus that sounds like this. So what we're doing here is playing an A power chord, so open A, 2nd fret D, hitting it once and let it ring out, and then we're going to place our 2nd finger on the 4th fret of low E, 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the A. We're going to pick those 2 strings. Then we're going to pick an open G. Then we're going to move that shape down 1 fret, so on the 3rd fret low E, 2nd fret A, and we're going to pick the same strings again. This part is slightly tricky because that movement is fairly quick, so I recommend just practicing this at a slow tempo and then building it up to the track tempo. Then goes back to the A power chord. And then it plays it again. So at the track tempo it sounds like this. And all of those pick notes on the 4th and 3rd fret, the open G, and then the 3rd fret, 2nd fret and open G, they're all consistently after each other. So I definitely recommend you spend some time practicing this part. So that is the 3 different sections in this song. Again, I recommend you listen to it, write down the structure with these parts, and then you'll be able to play the whole of the song. So that has been Lounge Act. The next song that we're going to be looking at is Stay Away. So the intro to this song starts off with some muted strings and some open notes. Really here you can do whatever you want. And then it kicks in with this riff. Really cool riff and quite an interesting choice of chords that Kurt chose. So we're going to play a D power chord to begin with. So Kurt was really fond of playing it this way, so this is how we're going to do it. So we're going to place our 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. Then we're going to place our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And we're looking to strum from the D string downwards. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down, up. And then we're going to go down and do a muted note. And again. So then we're going to go to a B power chord. We're going to place our 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A, 3rd or little finger on the 4th fret of the D string, and we're going to go up, down, up. So if we put our 2 chords together so far, at a slow tempo it sounds like this. And then we're going to move to an F power chord. So our 1st finger is going to be on the 1st fret of the low E. Little finger is going to be on the 3rd fret of the A. And again, we're going to go up, down, up. So far we have got. So the ending of this riff is possibly the coolest part of it. We go to a C power chord, so first finger on the 3rd fret A, then our little 3rd finger is going to be on the 5th fret of the D. We're going to go up, down, and then on the next up we're going to move our 1st finger off the string so we get an open A. So it'll sound like this, and again. And then we're going to go down with our 1st finger back on the 3rd fret of the A. And then the very last chord that we're going to play is we're going to shift everything up 1 fret to the 4th fret on the A, 6th fret on the D, and this will be on our upstroke. So altogether this little section sounds like this at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. Sounds really odd on its own, but then if we play it from the beginning of the riff, again at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Even at the slower tempo it sounds really odd, so let's now do it to the track tempo. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So then it heads into the verse of the song. So the verse is quite sparse, the guitar is just doing this. So what we're doing here is we're picking the 5th fret on the G string 3 times. And then on the 4th time we're going to bend up. And we're going to try and hit the 6th fret on the G on our bend. And once more. So what we're doing is we're bending up and coming back down. This repeats several times in the verse. It then goes back into our intro or chorus riff. It switches between these two multiple times, and then it's going to get to a bridge which will sound like this. So what we're doing here is we're playing our D power chord, and we're going to play it 16 times. Then we're going to go to a F sharp power chord, so 2nd fret low E, 4th fret on the A, we're going to play it 8 times. So all together. And then we're going to finish it off by going to the 3rd fret on our G string, and we're going to do exactly what we did on the 5th fret of the G string, we're just moving it down 2 frets. And again. So all together it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this whole bridge section repeats twice, and then it heads back into our chorus riff. So that has been Stay Away. The next song that we're going to be looking at is On a Plane. So for this track you're going to need to be in drop D tuning. What this means is we take our E string and tune it down to a D. Once you're in this tuning, we're going to look at the intro of the song. So the intro of the song, we're going to place our 1st finger on the 13th fret of the low E, 2nd finger on the 14th fret of the A, and 3rd finger on the 15th fret of the D. So we've got a diagonal line with our fingers, and then we're going to hit all of these strings. And then it slides from 12 to 13 twice. And then it goes to the 14th fret on the A. And then we're going to place our 3rd and our little finger down on the 15th fret of the D and 16th fret of the G. So that whole phrase sounds like this. It then goes to the 12th fret low E, and we're going to slide 2 times again to the 13th fret. But this time, rather than go to the 14th fret A, we're just going to play the 15th and 16th fret on the D and on the G. And then we repeat that again. So altogether our intro sounds like this at a slow tempo. It then heads into the main riff of the song. So for the main riff of the song, we're going to be playing some power chords. So we're going to place our first finger on the 5th fret of the A string, and then our little finger on the 7th fret of your D string. That gives you your D power chord, and we're going to go down, down on this chord. After we do the second down, we're going to come back up, but we're going to lift our fingers off the strings so we get open strings. And again. Then it moves up to the 5th fret on the low E string. So I'm going to call it a low E string even though we're in drop D. So it's going to be the 5th fret low E, 5th fret A and 5th fret D, and we're going to do exactly the same as what we did for our first chord. So that's down, down, and then on the up we're going to have some open strings. Then we're going to move down to the 3rd fret, so our first finger's on the 3rd fret, E, A and D, exactly the same again. So if we just play up to that point at a slow tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4. So those open strings are really important with this riff. And then to finish it off, we're going to go to the 2nd fret low E, 2nd fret A, 2nd fret D. And then we're going to come up on the 3, down on the 2, and then up on the open. Okay, so 2, 3, 2, open. If we then add that to the rest of the riff, it will sound like this at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the 3rd time round of this riff, we go to the 5th fret power chord, so that's our D. We do exactly the same. But then we're going to move down to our C power chord. So now we're on the 3rd fret A and 5th fret of the D. This time we're going to go down, up, down. And then we're going to do our open strings. So all together so far. And then we're going to go down to our B power chord. So first finger on the 2nd fret of the A, little finger on the 4th fret of the D. We're going to go down, down, and then up on the open strings. And again. And then we're going to go to our A power chord and we're going to play it exactly the same way as we did for our C power chord. So down, up, down, and then on the up is the open strings. So all together at a slow tempo it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it heads into the main riff that we started with 3 times, then goes back to what we just learned once, and then back into the main riff one more time. It will then head into the chorus of the song. So for the chorus of the song, we're going to go to our D power chord again, 5th fret A, 7th fret D. We're going to go down, down, and then up on the open string. And then we're going to go to this chord. So our first finger is going to be barred on the 5th fret of the E and the A. Then our 3rd and our little finger will be on the 7th fret of the D and the G. And we're going to go down, up, down, up. So far. And then we're going to move up to the 8th fret on the E string and on the A string. 3rd and little finger on the 10th fret of the D and the G, and we're going to play this 8 times. You can choose to do just down strums here, or you can do down up strums. So altogether our chorus sounds like this at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. This repeats multiple times in the chorus, then heads back into the verse, which was exactly the same as our very first verse, and then the second chorus is exactly the same. So we're going to head into the bridge of the song, which is a little bit different. We're going to bar our first finger on our 3rd fret, E, A and D. And then we're going to pick the A string, then the D, then the E, then the D, then the A. So it sounds like this. And once more. So that's hitting the chord, then A, D, E, D, A. Then we move down to the 2nd fret with our bar. And we're hitting the same strings again. So A, D, E, D, A. So let's put those two together. When we play that very first D note, there is a little gap, and then the rest of the notes continue after that. So this is what it sounds like. Pause, then move down, pause. And then it goes to our A power chord, so we're going to be placing our first finger on the 2nd fret of the D and the G. We're going to hit that open A, and we're going to go down, down. And then on the up, we're going to have our open strings again. And then we're going to go to our 5th fret bar, and we're going to play it 8 times. So those two chords together sound like this. And then if we put the whole section together, it's going to sound like this at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. This repeats 4 times in the bridge, then goes back into a verse and into the final chorus. All of this is all exactly the same as what we have learnt before. So essentially in this song there are 4 different parts. We've got that intro, we've got the verse, we've got a chorus, and we have the bridge. What I recommend you do is listen to the song, write the structure down, and then you'll be able to play those parts. Thanks for checking out this lesson. The next song we're going to be looking at is Something in the Way. So for Something in the Way, it's fairly straightforward, but the tuning is a little bit different. Our top string is going to need to be a C. Our 2nd string is going to need to be a G. Next string is going to be a C. Then the next string is going to be an F. Next string is going to be an A. And then our A bottom string is going to be a D. So this song is played on acoustic guitar. I'm going to be playing this on electric, but it's going to be exactly the same whether you use your acoustic or whether you play it on electric guitar. So the main hook of this song sounds like this. And it just loops around that throughout all of the verses. So we're going to place our first finger on the 4th fret of our E, A and D string. We're going to go down, 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 up. Then we're going to lift our finger off and we're going to do exactly the same. Okay, so finger down, then finger off. And once more. Now right before the chorus starts, it actually changes a little bit, so it sounds like this. So what we're doing is we're doing our very first down, and then we're playing 5 down strokes after that fairly quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then it heads into the chorus where we're going to do a little bit of a different strumming pattern. So we're going to place our finger over the 4 frets again. And we're going to go down, up, down, down, up. Down, up, down, down, up. Then we're going to go to this D power chord. We're going to do exactly the same. So let's switch between those 2 chords. Down, up, down, down, up, down. Up, down, down, up, down. Up, down, down, up, down. up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. So after that, it then heads back into the verse, which is exactly the same as pretty much throughout the whole song and what we played at the beginning. Really straightforward song, just those two sections that repeat throughout the whole of the song. So the very last song that we're going to be looking at in this series is Endless Nameless. So this is Endless Nameless, the last track on the album, and this is going to be the last guitar lesson in this series. There's a little bit of a story behind this song. Kurt Cobain was getting frustrated during recording sessions for Lithium, and so he began to come up with this on guitar, and then the rest of the band joined in. It got recorded, and then it actually wasn't on the album when it was first pressed and released. Kurt Cobain got so annoyed about it, he complained, and then the song got added to the future pressings. So this song is on Spotify, so I felt like, even though it's a bit of an improvisation, a bit of a jam, that I should include it in this series to get that full album. So it's a little bit of an odd tuning for this song. Our top string's going to be an A sharp. The thicker strings you got, the better it will hold in tune. I've got 9s on. I can go down to this A sharp, but it might not stay in tune dead on. And then the second string, we're going to tune to a G sharp. So we've got A sharp and G sharp. The rest of the strings are just going to be in standard tuning. So we've got our D, our G, our B, and our E. So we get a real grotty sound, but it sounds really cool with a bit of distortion on. So whack that distortion on, because we are going to make some noise. So to start it off with, we've got the open notes. So we're going to play that 8 times. The very first time it's going to be open, then the rest are going to be palm muted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This repeats several times. So this repeats several times, but this time, rather than loop it round, we're going to start our bends. So these bends are really important to learn straight away because it's throughout the whole of the song. So we're going to place our first finger on the 12th fret G, second finger 13th fret B, third finger on the 14th fret of the high E. We're going to play this 8 times and bend up. Okay, so we're going to hit it the first time, bend up, and then hit it a further 7 times. So if we add in our open notes beforehand, really tricky bends, so that's why we're using the first 3 fingers. Those are naturally our strongest fingers. And then after this, we then go back to our open strings. But this time, rather than to play 12, 13, 14, we're going to move down to 11, 12 and 13, play exactly the same amount of times. Then we're going to play our open strings again. Then we're going to move up now to 13, 14 and 15. Open strings. Then we're going to play 14, 15 and 16 times. Okay, so 8 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's put those 8 bars together now. So remember, we're doing open string riff, then 12, 13, 14, open string riff, 11, 12, 13, open string riff, 13, 14, 15, open string riff, 14, 15, 16. So you can already tell how this is improvised. I've got a little sheet of paper here in front of me because there's just no way I'm going to remember the structure and how it essentially is formed. So I've got my notes here. You might want to make some notes as well because it does just go off anywhere. But let's play it from the beginning. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to destroy your fingers or make them stronger. So let's keep going because now it actually changes slightly. So our open note riff, we actually play it 4 times now. So we've got an open and then 3 palm mutes. And then we're going to do our 12, 13, 14, but we're just going to bend 4 times now. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we play our open strings again, 3, 4, and we're going down to 10, 11, 12. Again, we're playing it 4 times, open strings again, playing 10, 11, 12 again 4 times, open strings, then we're going 13, 14, 15. So those 4 bars together sound like this. We've got open strings 4, 12, 13, 14, 4, open string 4, 10, 11, 12, 4, open string 4, 10, 11, 12, 4, open string 4, 13, 14, 15, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to go back to our open string 4 times. Then we're going 11, 12, 13 4 times. Open string 4 times. Then we're going 9, 10, 11. Then open string 4 times. 12, 13, 14. Open string 4 times. 12, 13, 14 again. So let's do this 4 bars. So we're going open string 11, 12, 13, open string 9, 10, 11, open string 12, 13, 14, open string 12, 13, 14, each 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's put these 8 bars together. So that's where we're going 12 with our 3 fingers. We're going 12, 10, 10, 13, and then 11, 9, 12, 12. And then it heads into a little bit of a more melodic part. So what we're doing here is we're playing some open strings and we are going down to the 3rd and 2nd fret of the A. So let's place our 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of our A string, which is actually a G sharp. So we're picking it once, then we're picking a G, and then A, G, A. G, A, G, A. A, G, A, G, A. And then we're going to the 2nd fret on the A, doing 3 downstrokes. Then we're coming up on the G, A, G, A. Okay, so it sounds like this. A, G, A, G, A. And then we're going to move back to the 3rd fret A. We're going to play it 3 times. And then we're going to play the open B, then the A, then the G, then the A. So this bar sounds like this. And then we're going to go back to the 2nd fret A, play it 3 times. Then the G. Then we're going to play the A twice. And then G. So let's play those 4 bars all together at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving on now to the next 4 bars, we go back to our 3rd fret A, we play it twice. Then G, A, G, A. So this bar all together. And then we're going down to the 2nd fret A, playing it 3 times. Open B, A, G, A. So it sounds like this. Going back to the 3rd fret A, playing it twice. Open G, A, G, A. So let's play this bar all together. then 2nd fret A, play it twice, then we play the G twice, then the A, then the G. So this last bar sounds like this. So now let's put these 4 bars together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's add in our next 4 bars, and that completes this melodic section. So we go back to our 3rd fret A, play it twice, then G, A, G, A. Once more on this bar, A, G, A, G, A. Down to the 2nd fret A, play it twice. Then we're playing an open G and B, then an A, G. So let's play this bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the 3rd fret A, playing it twice. G, A, G, A. And again, A, G, A, G, A. So we have headed back into our open string riff. Then we're going 12, 13, 14, bending up 4 times. Open string 4 times. This time we're going 14, 15, 16. Open string riff 4 times. 12, 13, 14. Open string riff 14, 15, 16. So for our 3 fingers, for these 4 bars, we are going on the 12, 13, 14. Then we're going 14, 15, 16, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15, 16. So we're just flicking between essentially the 2 notes. So let's play these 4 bars together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's move on to the next 4 bars. Again, we've got our open strings. These just stay exactly the same, as you may have noticed already. Then we're going to start on 10, 11, 12. Open strings. 13, 14, 15. Open strings. 11, 12, 13. Open strings. 10, 11, 12. So let's now put this 4 bars together. So we are going with our 3 fingers. We're going 10 with our index. Then we're going 13, and then 11, and then 10. So 10, 13, 11, 10. After this, it then heads into a different riff. So what we're doing here is we are playing the 3rd fret on the D and the G. Then we're going to the 2nd fret with the same strings. And then we're playing the open D and G. And we repeat this multiple times. So there are a few more sections of this song, but it essentially just repeats the pattern. If it's going to be a distorted sound, then you're going to do those 4 open strings and then your 3-finger note. If it's melodic, then it's essentially going to revolve around what we played before. So switching from between the 3 and the 2 on the A. So when you hear those melodic bits after what we've learnt so far, then just mess around with that kind of variation. And it's the same with those open strings with the distortion. That's when you're going to then use your 3 fingers, and you can kind of mix it up. It doesn't actually matter really what you play. Certainly towards a few minutes in of the song where it just kind of goes off. I think Kurt Cobain actually may have like smashed his guitar, starts kind of just doing random stuff on his guitar. You can do the same too. I think there is actually one more time where we go 3-2-0. And some low E notes, but just listen out for those parts and play different things. It's an improvised jam. Learn it up to a certain point and then do your own thing and improvise. Improvisation is key even when we're learning other people's songs. So that has been Nevermind by Nirvana. Thank you for joining me on this journey of learning the whole of the album. It's been great to revisit this album and really look into what makes this so unique to Nirvana and to Kurt Cobain. In particular, his guitar playing, really cool parts, different chord progressions that he's added in, those open string notes that he likes to add in between the chords that really give it a sense of urgency. If you enjoyed this video, then I'd really appreciate it if you click the like button, click the subscribe and then the bell. And obviously if you have any questions about these lessons, then leave a comment in the box below. See you next time.